Hey guys, it's me, Steve Vaughn here with another Dr. Stone video. Now I know it's been a while since I last made a video. I've been working on other manga and comics for feature videos, and a lot of things have kind of gotten away from me. But now I'm here now to do another Dr. Stone video because there's a lot of thoughts I've been having inside my there's a lot of thoughts I've been having when thinking about Dr. Stone. Now overall I did overall enjoy the story, and I loved its premise of Dr. Stone. I enjoyed it, and I liked it. However, there were certain things as I was reading the chapters, as they were coming out, there were certain parts in the chapters that I had gripes about, issues with, sort of. It might be seen as nitpicking from me, but you know what? I just wanted to discuss it here and get other people's thoughts and whatnot. So one of the thoughts I had concerning the Dr. Stone story is the reviving of humanity and humanity just working together with each other, all clean and nice. No one's asking questions from the Kingdom of Science crew. Everyone just seems to be like, even though I believe that Cinco and crew are withholding information, certain major information, specifically about Y-Man and the petrification, and well, maybe like they give them some little details, but not any of the major details, especially like immortality, the Medusas, the revival fluid, and all that and such. It would have been cool to see some of the humans, like I've said before in previous videos. It would have been cool to see some previous humans. Maybe some of them along the lines of having similar ideologies to Sukasa, or just some variant of it. Kind of get in the way of the Kingdom of Science crews. They're trying to get humanity to work together. As they're splee blitzing through, between chapters 198 and 212. Between these chapters, there's like a whole year within that time of globetrotting the world, reviving all of humanity. It would have been cool to see someone, maybe not want to work with the Kingdom of Science crew, or maybe gets in their way as they're trying to revive people, and they're on this ticking clock, and they gotta hurry up and get to Y-Man before he tries to petrify everyone again, and they really gotta get humanity to work together here for a great to tackle an even greater threat. I mean, he sort of did that with Zeno, in his quest for a dictatorship. He wants to rule in this new world, especially since he broke out at the same time as Senku, and he made all his scientific endeavors and all that stuff with Stanley and everyone. I guess you could kind of say Ibarra, because he is using a futuristic version of science, and that kind of aligns with some of the themes in the story. Um, they're talking about using science for good to help people and all that, to revive humanity, and Ibarra and Zeno are using science for their own ends, their own evil ends, and everything like that, to accomplish their own goals. With Zeno, it's dictatorship. With Ibarra, it's to rule over Treasure Island. And he's using the Medusa for anyone that tries to leave Treasure Island. He petrifies them to stone. He petrified the chief of or the king, whatever. He's the leader of Treasure Island. He petrified the leader, Soyu's father, in stone. He tricked Kirisame, possibly Mozu, but Mozu was going to probably kill Ibarra anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But he's using this advanced tech of science to try to rule over Treasure Island until, Cinco and crew kind of roll up there and do what they need to do. But yeah, so like other than that, humanity's fine. Like they revive humanity between those chapters. Everyone's fine. Everyone's good. Like you even see, I don't have the screen. I don't have the panel to show, but like when they stop in one of the countries and they're eating curry, they're talking to the people they just revived, and they're surprised that the King Science crew doesn't want to rule over them or anything like that. And King Science crew is just doing the whole like, we just want to revive people. We want people to cooperate with us because we got a bigger goal here in mind. We just want all of humanity's help, and so on and so forth. And it's just like, what if they did revive someone similar to Tsukasa and Zeno? Like it made me wonder who else did they revive throughout that 1 year, because like in previous chapters, chapter 146, after they revived Tsukasa from his wounds from Hyoga during the Stone Wars arc, they're like, what if we revive someone bad? What are we gonna do about that? And they're just like, it'll be fine. Society will be up and running. I'm like, that doesn't really stop any bad guys just because science. That was their whole thing for why you don't really see any bad guys. It's because society will be up and running. It'll be fine. And that's the same thing they told Zeno when they were getting ready to revive Stanley, and he was going to make himself out to be the bad guy. So that is the reason for why for reviving Stanley to pilot the spaceship. The one guy that you'll see in season 3 of the anime. I'm trying to remember his name and I'm drawing a blank. I'll have it here on the screen, but he tells Zeno, like, like it or not, you're part of the Kingdom of Science crew, and we have civilization up and running. And and that makes me wonder how long in 3 years, and I'm thinking it's between those 3 years because that's when Zeno and Senku would eventually reunite again, and because Zeno was working on the engine for the rocket, and he's like, it's been 3 years. So I'm just like, okay, so in 3 years, civilization is up and running enough that we don't have to worry about any bad human beings or anything like that. And part of me is just like, to suspend my disbelief for a lot of this, because for the most part, up to a point, they're kind of emphasizing the fact, like, especially when they revived Tsukasa, he was a good example of, the caution of reviving certain people. You don't know exactly if they're going to work with you or anything like that. The other side of Senku's ideology, and in the themes of the story, humanity coming together, the perseverance of humanity, the innovations of humanity, and everything like that, and him wanting to revive all of humanity, good and bad, regardless. I would have really liked, because it would have tested Senku, and like Tsukasa was kind of that at first. He's the other side of Senku's ideology and everything else, and he's also just standing in his way. But then they get that resolved with him, which was fine. Because I would have liked to have seen more tension arise from reviving people, consequences for reviving people, because they're just they're going around. Really, we don't get to see everyone that they revive, but we just get to see certain countries that they're in, reviving people, establishing cities and all that and such. And then we later see like they create this network of people to communicate, to get ready to create this rocket and all this other such and stuff. And it's I don't know, it kind of sucks. Like, I wish the story could have went on longer so we could have developed more of humanity and the world building of humanity and such as they're reviving them and establishing these cities and all that and such. But we really don't get to see that. And it would have provided great tension for them reviving people. It would have made them have to really choose who they're reviving, for at least for right now, until they get civilization up and running. Because there's no way Senku's going to know every person in the world. There's no way all of them are going to know every person in the world, as they're reviving them. Like, are they just reviving all the scientists? Are they just reviving regular people? Who are they reviving to help assist them in these endeavors? Do they have another Magma on their hands? Another Zeno? Another Tsukasa? How are they dealing with all that? Are they immediately petrify them right after they revive them? There's no way to tell. Which would have been really interesting and caused tension as they're getting ready to create this rocket to go to Y-Man. Especially since the Kingdom of Science crew are keeping major secrets from the rest of humanity. The immortality of the Medusa itself, the possibility of the revival fluid that they're not telling anyone about. Let's see, the decisions for the rocket, the decisions made to make the two-way rocket, and all that, the manpower needed to make all that, and the time and all that to make all of that. And of course, maybe Y-Man himself. I want to talk about here real quick is Y-Man and his entire plan and his actions throughout the entire story. So, like, when Senku eventually talks to Y-Man when they're on the moon, Y-Man, Senku does point out to Y-Man, like Y-Man's like, we needed you guys to understand the power that we possess, and for you guys to want to crave immortality and to avert death. And Senku's like, well, we can't help you. You turned us to stone, and now we're at the point where we have to start from scratch. We don't have the same technology that we had when we first when you petrified us back in 2019. Your plan was to get humanity to create more of you by enticing them with the power of the Medusa. so that they would, use their technology and their science and their brilliance to create more of you, but you turned everyone to stone, and that didn't work out. Then you tried it again in Treasure Island after you petrified everyone the first time. So with the descendants of the astronauts, because you caught it with it, there's some humans around, awake and alive. You tried that, didn't work. Destroyed all the other Medusas except for one that ends up in Ybarra's hands. So you indirectly kind of, well, directly and indirectly kind of caused the events of Treasure Island to play out the way they did. So that didn't work out. Then when Senku and all them come back, then you try again. You're just screaming why throughout most of the story, not really doing much. I get it because the atmosphere of Earth kind of turns them to rust, causes them to rust and die. So I kind of get it why they're not physically going to come to Earth, but they could have come up with some other plan. I don't know, something else. But that didn't work. You got lucky, petrify the world a second time. Then after that, you did try to contact them again around like chapters 201, and then the Medusa that the crew had with them while they're constructing the rocket and getting ready to go to the moon, self-activated and petrified Gin and Yo. And then after that, it was up to the moon, and they have this huge discussion with Y-Man, the Y-Men, the many entities, and that's just pretty much it. And then they're just like, you know what? This ain't worth it. You guys don't seem like you got the intelligence and the resources that we need to create more of us. So we're just gonna leave. We're gonna go, except for this one that's for some reason staying behind. Because it's been with the crew for I guess a good while, even though it's never really said anything up until a point. Besides what we saw in the flashback and the talking up on the moon and all that, but they're just like we're gonna leave. We're done here. It didn't work out. I'm just like, what? To call them antagonists, really? They're not really. They didn't really want to hurt humanity, so to speak. They just really wanted humanity to create more of them. But their actions did cause a lot of things, like the Treasure Island event, the petrification of all of humanity, the events of the story, basically. I mean, if it weren't for them, Kohaku and all them wouldn't even exist. They're not like antagonists like Zeno, Tsukasa, Hyoga, Ibara. All of them were doing actions that were impeding the Kingdom of Science crew, getting in their way, where the Kingdom of Science crew could have, and for the most part, should have died. Like, besides Ibarra, who still stayed petrified, is presumably still petrified after the events of Treasure Island, all the other antagonists are now part of the Kingdom of Science crew without anyone kind of having any tension or, issues with each other working together. Like, especially with Zeno's crew and group. Like, Zeno's group, Stanley and them, were shooting at them in that arc before the second petrification occurred. Senku got shot twice. They shot at Suika, they shot at a child, they shot at Kohaku, Hyoga, and Tsukasa. Tsukasa confirmed that Hyoga died. All these guys got shot and were pretty much dead if it weren't for the petrification that would heal them later on. And they're all fine and dandy, and they're all like, after getting revived, they're all fine. There's no reflecting on the fact that they got shot at. It's never brought up again. It's never discussed, never brought up. They're all fine. And even when they revive the rest of Zeno's crew, like Taiju kind of insists on it, after they all get revived. And, Zeno tells them what's going on, the situation, that they have to work together with, the Kingdom of Science crew. It's all fine and dandy. Like, no one has really any issues with each other. Like, I mean, sure, I can believe they try to work together, but there should be, like, issues with each other. Like, even Kohaku kind of had that with Hyoga when he's, joining the Kingdom of Science group. She's worried that he might stab them in the back, might try to work with Zeno. Like, when Hyoga's really on their side, if she can really trust him. It's kind of the same for Zeno a little bit there, too. Like, especially, like, when he gets revived back in chapters 198, and he's like, and he's asking Senku, why would you revive me? And Senku's just like, we got Y-Man to deal with, so we need your help. We're going to tell you about immortality and all that. There's no time for, this whole dictatorship, ruling the world and all that. We got a bigger problem to deal with. So it kind of makes sense for Zeno ends up joining with them. And of course, his bond with Senku and the time he spent with the Kingdom of Science crew, especially when he got kidnapped and after that. So it kind of made sense for why he ends up joining. But everything else, everyone else, like, yeah, I'm more so with the Zeno thing. Like, they all got shot. There's no reflecting on that. Like, this is the point where they all were about to die. I really wish they would have reflected on that. Like a lot of the things they went through, like, they're fine, they're dandy. Is, everything's gonna work out fine and everything like that. Especially like when we're reviving all the humanity. There's no human that's trying to uncover their secrets that the Kingdom of Science crew is keeping, or discovering the Medusa, or asking more questions than they should, or having trouble trying to unite all of humanity together to stop Y Man. And also getting to have Ishigami Village's reactions to the more darker side of humanity, or just other parts of humanity that don't like seeing humanity, have issues with each other before coming together to work together. See different nations and cultures and all this stuff kind of have issues with each other and try to work together to stop this entity that kind of set them back. Hundreds and hundreds of years. Um, and it would have been great. It would have been really cool. I mean, I would say that in all my previous videos, and I would have really, really, really enjoyed it. But I get it. This was the last arc. It was a little bit fast paced, a little bit rushed. They were going through it. They blasted through reviving all of humanity, and then civilization is just up and running, and everything's kind of cool. I think I'm done so far with this discussion. I think I said a lot of what I wanted to talk about here, at least so far. I may do another one discussing the story, another aspect of it. I don't know. We'll see. But there are other things I do want to discuss with Dr. Stone. So for right now, what did you guys think about the story of Dr. Stone? What did you think about Y Man as the antagonist, or humanity in general, or how they were in the Dr. Stone story, or how they are in the Dr. Stone world? Um, you know, what was your favorite character or anything like that? Just let's get a discussion going. Also, do you think the story should have gone on longer? Do you think the story should have gone on just maybe 60 chapters more, maybe 100 chapters more? Especially delve into more of the humanity and getting humanity. I think that would have been greatly would have greatly helped the story, showing them trying to get humanity to work together and all that stuff. It would have been really cool. It just would help emphasize more on the humanity and perseverance and all that. That's all I'm saying. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Let me and let's discuss in the comments and everything like that. This is just me having a discussion, just talking about Dr. Stone, just having fun with it and all that and such. But hope you guys are enjoying whatever manga or comic you're reading, whatever anime or TV show you're watching, whatever book you're reading, just whatever you're doing. Just hoping you guys are just enjoying your day and your time, and just thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next discussion. Later.